Welcome to another episode of For and Against, where two seasoned and somewhat jaded reviewers argue the good, the bad, and the meh of an album released this week.
And today, we're talking about Miley Cyrus's American 80s new wavy album, Plastic Hearts.
An album that should have been titled, Oh, What Could Have Been. I'm afraid this album is one great wasted opportunity. Not much on this record brings out her iconoclasm like her rendition of Heart of Glass, Zombie, or Midnight Sky's remix mashup with Stevie Nicks. While we may appreciate Cyrus's leadership with her career, and no one can doubt her strength as a performer, it's a shame she didn't turn for some help on some of the songwriting like the greats did in the 80s. An icon needs iconic albums. Not all of them have to be in her discography, but the wise strategy of covering those classics elevated our hopes, and the world is in dire need of the kind of star who can command a stadium without the need of backing dancers and fancy elaborate LED screens.
So it's 2020, we've had COVID, we've had Trump, and now we have Miley Cyrus's version of Zombie. In fact, more than that, we have people going mad for Miley Cyrus's version of Zombie, a song which I'm afraid I genuinely cannot stand. So Miley Cyrus has gone rock, and she announced it by means of a cover of Heart of Glass and a cover of Zombie, and everyone got very, very excited. And I've got to say, much as I dislike Zombie in all of its ways, shapes or forms, it's one of those songs you often hear at the swimming pool, and it makes me duck my head underwater to try to avoid it. I liked this album. Midnight Sky, what a tune that is. This album also has Billy Idol on it. Yes, Billy Idol doing a song that is prime White Wedding. Do you know what? When I started listening to this song, I thought, Billy Idol's really turned it down a bit. And then came the chorus, and Billy Idol has not turned it down a bit. It's got Mark Ronson. I think it's got some great songs. It's got bits that remind me of Phil Collins. And yes, I liked it.
You see, Ben, you're totally right. I think she does an incredible job with her vocal performances on all the songs, but the songs themselves are not super memorable. She could have had Linda Perry, Jeff Lynne, or any of the hundreds of the classic pop rock songwriters that she can afford to hire for a substantial buyout rate. She's got Ryan Tedder, the singer in that one-hit wonder band that had a name like a denim fashion brand. What was it? One Republic. He's writing most of the songs on this album, and he's one of the decade's most prolific songwriters. He co-wrote Beyonce's Halo, so for that alone, he's got a fast pass into heaven. But he seems to have been in lazy mode on these writing sessions, and now the album's out, I'm afraid it's too late to apologize.
Now. Miley Cyrus wrote one of my favourite pop songs ever. I'm going to have to say it, Nothing Breaks Like a Heart. That is an absolute anthem in my house, and this album is at its best when it sounds like that. She does have an absolutely lovely voice, and boy does she sing it out. Sometimes I wish she'd toned it down just a little bit. And in fact, on the song with Joan Jett, I can't feel that Joan Jett herself is rather underused, where Miley's all really, really big and Joan Jett is barely there. Talking of songwriting, there are some rather duff lyrics on this album to be found as well. But what does it matter when you've got titanium hooks? I mean, the intros have hooks, the verses have hooks, the midsections have hooks, the hooks have hooks. How many times have you sung along to Midnight Sky in your home?
Oh, many times. Midnight Sky is a standout track, but one.
What a sort of power move was it to do Midnight Sky and then do another version with Stevie Nicks? That's the kind of thing that big pop stars do, and that's what I like.
You see, I like those great power moves, those chess moves, as I like to say. In the 80s, it was full of it. They were publicity stunts, but they were done with panache and greatness and ambition. There's none of this here. Joan Jett, for goodness sake, one of the pioneering women in rock. She's just, as you say, you can barely hear her. Is it her ahas that you can hear, the onomatopoeias? Why didn't she get a bit more of a songwriting credit? And going back to Nothing Breaks Like a Heart, that is probably one of Miley Cyrus's top 3 songs, right? Wrecking Ball, Nothing Breaks Like a Heart, Party in the USA I'm not really fond of, and maybe something of Bangers. But if working with Mark Ronson worked so well on that occasion, and I must say the 3 songs that Mark produces on this album are by far the best, why didn't you just let him co-write and co-produce the entire thing instead of having all these people pitching in and doing a bit of this, a bit of that? It's a bit scrambled and it's all a bit meh. Whereas if she would have let Mark Ronson have the heft of it, we'd be talking about that great 80s sounding new wave rock and roll version of Miley Cyrus that the world craves for these days.
You like to cook, do you not?
Oh yes, much.
And when you're cooking, do you just add salt to your dishes?
Oh no, I like to put a bit of spices.
Some might say variety is the spice of life. In fact, that's what happens on this album. You've got a little bit of Mark Ronson, a bit of Tedder, a bit of Billy Idol, a bit of Dua Lipa, a bit of loads of people. That's what it is. And it still just about keeps coherent. She does a little bit of everything, and that's what we need. It's not just relentlessly salting your dish with the Mark Ronson salt. It's inviting other people to come round, have a lovely cook, and put their own little ingredients in your bubbling pot.
Yeah, I insist. She's in top form. Her vocal performance is in top form. You can sense the ambition she has. It's like all you had to do was hire the right people, or have a bit of, not even have the whole responsibility of creatively directing this whole album. Just Mark Ronson would have been fine. Joan Jett, a waste of time. Billy Idol, all right, that's okay, but it's just anecdotal. Dua Lipa, one of the biggest pop stars, and anything you put Dua Lipa on is like truffle over pasta. It's always going to be like, ooh, that extra regal touch. The song isn't that memorable. And, well, the only thing memorable is the fact that it's ripping off Olivia Newton-John's Physical. Surround yourself with people who can do more for you, shall we say. Don't handle all the pressure all on your own.
I just don't understand you. You want more, and then you want less. And then you want more, and then you want less. You want more songwriters. Bring more songwriters. Bring them in. Oh no, but let's have less people. Let's have Mark Ronson. What is it? Do you want more, or do you want less?
Not more songwriters, just more of the one good songwriter. I'm in love with Mark Ronson as the producer, because he's not just a talented music encyclopedia. You know, he's got good taste. And this is what this album is lacking in some of the song decisions, shall we say. It's like, look, just lock yourself up in a room. In fact, scrap this record like Kanye would. Scrap it completely. Keep Midnight Sky with Stevie Nicks. Keep some of the ballads. Keep the Mark Ronson songs, and write 8 new ones just with him, with that direction. That's on the mood board. Joan Jett, Olivia Newton-John, 80s New Wave, Pat Benatar. Get Josh Homme. Heart's a good song.
No, sorry, Heart, as in the Canadian rock band. Sounds a lot like Heart. Sorry, I was into your mood board. The
mood board. Let's look at the mood board. What else could have been on this album? I would have loved a little bit more of a guitar solo, shall we say. A powerful guitar, a memorable guitar solo. You know, there's nothing, it sounds like it's the kind of Logic Pro guitar solos that you have on presets. It's not like something that Slash could have signed. All very meh. All very fringe.
Well, I'm going to go pro. It sounds like Phil Collins in the 80s met Joan Jett, met Billy Idol. And can you imagine what kind of a party that would be? Yes, it would be a party in the USA.
You see how you like a good little pun, you do. And it's never too late to apologize. So what did you lot think of the album? Please let us know in the comment section, and make sure you tune in to the weekly review every week on RPS.